Bitcoin from a practical perspective, this is still a bear flag. That's not a new insight today. Larsson line still blue, hasn't changed, trend is still down. Then we can argue if the move started from here, this rejection, or from here, this rejection. It matters because if this confirms, that's what sets the target. If it's like this, or if it's like this, or if it's something like this. As you probably know, I felt that all this bearishness actually started up here. I don't think anyone will forget this bear cap now. Even if you missed the bear cap, we had breakdown alerts from Larsson line Pro at 110k, blue flip alert at 108k, and another breakdown alert at 106k. From bear cap rejection day, price dropped 34% and is still down 25%. From blue flip, price dropped another 25% and is still down 15%. But Larsson, 35%, 25%, 15% isn't that much. If Bitcoin is now going to 200,000, 300,000, 1 million, who cares about 25%? And that is a true and valid objection here. If we knew with certainty that the bottom is in and we go to several hundreds of thousands of dollars now, I agree. Who cares? The problem for me is that I don't know that. I congratulate everyone who think that they know what the market will do next. Great for you. I'm not one of those fortune tellers, unfortunately. And if you go back and actually check how their predictions turned out in the past, whether it's using S2F model, M2 money supply model, or moving average models, well, I think I will stick to my approach and react to what actually happens in the present instead. No one would be happier than me if the ABB guys, always be bullish, turns out correct this time, and we just mega pump back to massive strength. And that can happen, guys, because here's the same chart if we zoom out. I'll switch to weekly candles so it's a little easier to see. Here's the positive scenario, and this is also not new. I wrote about this interpretation half a year ago. It's just that this scenario doesn't really practically impact what I'm doing in the present right now. It's too wide for my liking. The pattern invalidation of a head and shoulders is if the right shoulder is breached. So this pattern only invalidates at 49,000. Then what to do with that information? If you feel that a minus 35% or 25% drop is fine, okay, sure, but even for those guys, I doubt they feel a minus 60% drop in Bitcoin is fine before flipping bearish if this pattern invalidates. It's a bit much to stomach. So practically, I don't use this right now. Instead, I'm on the daily chart, and this recovery here ain't it, because this is actually a bear flag. Your brain exercise is to be able to keep two possibilities, two scenarios in your head at the same time. One being that this bear flag confirms at some point, setting a target circle down here somewhere. The other being that this was just an inverse head and shoulders retest and that we're going massively higher. We don't need to predict which one of those two will happen in the future. Instead, we react to what actually happens when it happens. I have two more big topics today. Two important insights that I want to share with you all. One is the Bitcoin to gold chart. Right now, that is really depressing if you're only into Bitcoin. But from a Bitcoin only perspective, this has been bad lately. Just from this summer, this ratio has dropped by almost half. However, if we zoom out, the picture changes dramatically. This can still develop into an inverse head and shoulders final and maybe most important topic. Bitcoin is very useful because only when we understand which mood Bitcoin is in, only then we can understand if all the other assets in the crypto market are max risk on or max risk off. Right now, Bitcoin bad, so altcoins more bad. During the summer, Bitcoin mini euphoria, then altcoins mini euphoria. Here is altcoins market cap, blue line is Bitcoin price, and you see for yourself. And same with the S&P 500. If we don't understand where the whole market is going, it's much harder to get an individual stock right. For me, I think I got a bit lazy this year, focused too much on Bitcoin. And while the opportunities in the altcoins were fewer this year, there were some. And to play this game well, timing is key. Zcash, that did really well here over the autumn, did basically nothing over several years before this. And if you now remember this chart for a moment, it was Howard Marks who said this: if you buy an asset cheap, you're the innovator. Then when others realize it's cheap and buy it, price goes up. And because price goes up, others jump in. They imitate, and price goes up a lot. The last person to buy it is an idiot. First the innovator, then the imitator, and then the idiot. Same asset, just different time. Same asset, different time. Same asset, different time. It's not just about fundamentals. If I put it in corporate terms, I think one of my biggest competitive advantages is that I'm an innovator. That is something that's really hard to copy, and I should lean more into that strength. It's been my entire personality since I was a kid, and as an adult, I played a key role in creating some pretty big things. Actually, many of you who are new here don't even know about that, even though you use it every day. The innovator, the imitator, the idiot. All three categories are here on YouTube. Up to you which of those you decide to follow. Choose consciously and carefully. Thank you for all the follows, guys. Press the subscribe button if you think I'm an innovator. Unsubscribe if you think I'm an idiot. Thank you, tack. CTO Larsson out.